Spoiler warning! Heed the spoiler warning. If you haven't seen The Bad Batch episodes 6 and 7, please do not continue unless you would like to be spoiled. The Bad Batch Season 3 is almost to its halfway point. Well, I guess we could say it's its halfway point with 15 episodes. 7.5 episodes would be the half point. But with episode 6, Infiltration, and episode 7, Extraction, released just today, it's really getting thick in The Bad Batch. But before I continue with everything I have to talk about these 2 episodes, hit the subscribe button. Why? Because I said so. No, I'm kidding. Don't do it because I said so. Do it because it helps my channel grow. It really does. So, think about that. Now, let's move on. Why do I feel like I sound like Casey Kasem? That's weird. Anyway, so moving on with the first thing I'm going to say with The Bad Batch Season 3 episodes 6 and episode 7, I want to say they're amazing. What else could we ask for? More clones. And not just because we want to see clones from the Clone War era, we want to see how the clones are transitioning and getting comfortable in their new positions within the Empire or without the Empire. And this is highlighting a lot of those. And with every Star Wars content that comes out, I have to wonder, what does Joseph Gordon-Levitt think? Well, looks like he approves. So let's continue. Okay, like I said, the clones' transition period between the Clone Wars and the Imperial era is coming to fruition, and we're seeing a lot of that, where some clones are remaining loyal to the Empire, and some, a lot, are defecting against the Empire. And one of the clones most notable for sticking with the Empire to the bitter end is, spoiler warning, Commander Wolf. Yeah, Wolf. And there are doubts within his mind as to whether or not he is actually doing the right thing, even though his programming tells him he is a soldier of the Empire, once a soldier of the Republic, and now he faces off against Rex, his old friend and colleague, and that puts doubts in his mind. And we have to beg the question, with everything good, there is a little bit of confusion, and that confusion is as to why none of the other clones facing off against the Bad Batch and Rex and all the other guys, Hauser and whatnot, why none of them spoke up and said, Wolf, you're being a traitor, you're being mutinous, we're taking this over, and we're completing the mission. None of them did it. One questioned it, but Wolf just threw it off as a passing comment as, they're clones. We're going to just let them go then. And he said, okay. And that's not like a clone commando. The clone commandos are loyal to the Empire, and they are going to stick with it and fulfill the mission. But this time, they did not. So, makes you wonder. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, Hauser is back. Yay! We all liked Hauser. He was such a good guy on Ryloth. Did such a good job and defected against the Empire. We all thought he was killed or captured in that moment, but alas, he was not. And don't worry, I am going to get to the bit where I talk about whether or not I think Tech is dead. So give me just another moment, okay? All right? Okay, let's move on to Omega. However she says her name. Omega. This is the first set of episodes that wasn't entirely focused on her actions. Yes, the plot was playing out to where they're trying to capture her, but it wasn't about her being the parent figure trying to stop the squabbling boys. It was about adult themes, about firefights and battles and escaping and all that, and Omega didn't have the answer this time. This time Rex took charge, and as he should. And then we get back to Crosshair, which is my favorite clone of the Bad Batch. Love this guy. Think he's awesome. At first, in the first 2 seasons, I thought, typical villain. Loved his brothers, then turned against them. Kind of a Dr. Doom type character at first. And I thought, okay, this has been done before. But now that he's back with his brothers, there is some question as to his loyalty, especially from Captain Hauser. And I know a lot of other people had speculated that Crosshair was actually a double agent trying to get intel on the Bad Batch to get Omega captured and all that stuff. But that doesn't make much sense because Omega was already captured and they didn't need Crosshair to recapture her. I mean, if she's already caught, what's the sense of letting her escape with Crosshair just to recapture her? It makes no sense. Anyway, so no, Crosshair is not a double agent. He proved himself to Captain Hauser and the rest of the Bad Batch by fighting off Clone X. So let's get to Clone X, or X's, or whatever they are. Yeah. Man, I don't think these are just super soldiers. I think they are of a little bit of significance. And the one that we see Crosshair battling to the bitter end and missing his shots because his hand's shaking so bad, that palsy will really get to you. But the clone that Crosshair is fighting against in the Bad Batch Season 3, Episode 7, is, to my knowledge, or my understanding, or my theory, that could likely be Tech. They're built the same. Or maybe that's just a basic clone build. I don't know. But he keeps showing him hitting that techie device on his arm, trying to help his shoulder pain or whatever the hell's going on there. But they keep showing that, and they keep highlighting this particular Clone X. They also highlighted him when Crosshair was walking through the corridors of Tantus, and they froze on him for a moment as he regarded Crosshair. And it's kind of suspicious. Now, does that mean I want this to be Tech? No, I want Tech to stay dead. Too many Star Wars characters are brought back to life after we thought they were dead. And not to mention the emotional weight that was carried with Tech and his passing. If they find out he's still alive, then there's still hope to bring him back. And that takes away from the emotional weight that happened during Season 2. Now, these super clones or super commandos, not super commandos, these super clones or super soldiers are repurposed clones that have been taken in and reprogrammed and rebrainwashed and taught some new skills and everything. So maybe that's how Tech learned to fight, because originally he wasn't the best fighter in the squad. He was just good at tech. Yeah, of course, he was a decent fighter, probably better than an average clone, but he would have never beat Crosshair. But that's not saying much, because training can mean a lot, and Tech could have been trained as a fighter and killer. It could have happened. They had plenty of time to do it. But I really don't want it to be Tech. Not that I don't want Tech to be back, but I don't want Tech to be back. Why? I just told you. Because it takes away from the emotion that was carried in Season 2 finale of the Bad Batch. It doesn't make sense to bring him back, but I'm also tired of hearing the old trope in Star Wars: nobody really dies. Nobody's ever really gone. All that stuff. Because at any moment, they could just decide, let's bring him back. Just like they did Maul and a couple other figures. Just makes no sense. And let's let the dead be dead. Let them rest. That's all I have for today. If you have not done so already, hit the subscribe button. Why? Because it's freaking Star Wars, baby, and you love it and you know it. And I am trying to make a video per day for this channel, so stick with me. This is Gerald, a Star Wars fanatic, signing off, wishing you all great health, happiness, and peace. Thank you all for watching, and remember, this is the way. And positivity in Star Wars can be the only way.